Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preach Miles, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Hope you're having an outstanding Sunday. I want to give a shout out to my co-host and my co-producer, consultant producer, excuse me, Sister Sultana, who held the show down yesterday. Excellent topic. I really would encourage all of you to go back and listen and watch that episode. Amazing concept about how kids need to be included, not so much in the planning process for projects, but in the success narrative of projects. A lot of times we forget. Children are the future. There's a reason why they say that. The show that she put together was interesting because it also weaved in this whole idea of technology. Now, you heard me talk about technology and social media. I'm not against it. It's just that I don't totally understand it, number one. And because I don't totally understand it, it would be hard for me to fully endorse it. But, children are the future, which means they are actually growing up in the age of technology, not like some of us who we saw the advent of audio from radio to 8 track to cassette deck to, all those type of things to CD. We now have a situation where technology is faster. It turns over a lot quicker. They said technology turns over like every 18 months. And it requires us, of course, to stay up on it. Sometimes we can't. But I think that the maturation rates and the way that children are able to, I want to say, take in information, assess information, interpret information, it gives me hope that if they can do it, maybe they'll be generous enough for me to actually try to learn a little bit too. Also, want to give a shout out, Sister Reese. Sister Reese still up in Michigan. We hope everything's going well with your family, and we send big peace and blessings, hugs and kisses to everybody. When you lose a family member, brothers and sisters, it's not like you lost a family member. It's a little bit more. It's like you've lost a narrative, somebody who can physically or spiritually remind you of that narrative every time you look at them. And I think sometimes we can floss over the aspects of that narrative because we're dealing with grief, our hearts hurt, things like that. But sometimes that narrative is the thing that makes the person so special. So shout out to Sister Ree and her family up in Michigan. All right. Also want to give a shout out to my main man Bashir Jones, going for mayor of Cleveland, Ohio. He's graduating. That's going to be Wednesday the 19th. Big shout out to my main man, Suleiman Hamid, down there at Atlanta Masjid. He's going to be graduating on the 19th. Big shout out to Imam Fatullah from New Jersey. Not New Jersey, I'm sorry, from Las Vegas, who's also going to be graduating. I will be graduating. We have a couple of sisters. Sister Humera is going to be graduating out of Houston. So we have a lot of people going to be graduating out of this band program. Now, we won't be able to bring that to you because the program is going to be really early in the morning. The best we could do is kind of tape it. But what I'll try to do is trying to make sure that I can get some folks, inshallah, to maybe we can figure out how to get some footage and show you parts of the footage. How about that? I would be remiss if I always ask people when they come on the show, please hit the subscribe button, the notification button, the like button. Hit those buttons. We're trying to expand the program. Well, I don't necessarily check a lot of times to see if it's being done. And I want to make sure that whoever those three people were that took us from 157 to 160, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. We are officially at 160 subscribers. Believe me, it means a lot when we start out with no subscribers. Now we have 160 subscribers. Big shout out to everybody who supported the SOS show from its infancy to where it is now. And if you are on the show for the first time, you heard me talk about the subscription button, the notification button, the like button. You know what? Do what you will with those things. I want you to come in and enjoy our platform. We have subjects every day, which makes this a fun platform, which makes this a platform we're not necessarily predictable with our topics. And sometimes we follow themes, sometimes we don't follow themes, but we have we like to say we have the trust of our audience, the trust of our supporters that we're going to give you something that's worth your while. And I hope today is one of those times. I want to give something that's worth your while. I want to give a shout out also to Isna. Isna had the Eid celebration and we're kind enough to have me come and perform for the Eid celebration. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everyone else, listen, God bless you. Looks like things are loosening up a little bit. Comedy clubs are opening up. So, things are beginning to get back to normal. That said, let's not go overboard, brothers and sisters. COVID is still out there. It's still a pandemic, not as much as it was, but it's still a pandemic. So I would encourage everybody to take necessary precautions when you leave your house. Yes, wash your hands, sanitize yourself, keep hand sanitizer, and also wear your mask. Why wear your mask? Because you may be safe, but you don't know who else isn't safe. I'd rather take two safe people than somebody who isn't safe around somebody who is safe. So let's just say cut. Let's cut that out, if you will. We're gonna reduce the risk, if you will. So I want to kind of get moving because I have a particular topic I'm going to talk about today, and it takes a little bit to build a topic. And this is one of those. This is one of those days on Sunday Potluck with me, where we're going to build a case, if you will. So it's not just going to be me talking. I think it's important to build a case that you, the viewer, you, the participant, you, the consumer, if you will, of this information, understand what I'm saying when I'm trying to give you meticulous details to present a larger argument. So we start with one argument, but it leads to a larger argument. And I would hope to say that this argument leads to a larger conversation, larger consciousness, and so on. Okay. Before we get started, let me give a shout out to our people, our stars in the building. We have a few today. I know it's Sunday, and I appreciate everybody coming. Of course, we got Sister Reese here. Sister Reese is our director of craft services. She's the show dietitian, making sure that we are working at optimum strength, if you will, in terms of our dietary needs. And I think it is important to say that because when you think about it, we're easing up on 400 shows. There have been a lot of meals that have come through this house and gone in this mouth, brothers and sisters, that have gone to the energy of the show, the creativity of the show. So Sister E is a vital part of the Shout Out Show. All right, Sister E. Next up, we got my main man, Altaf Rashid, Altaf all the way from Canada, the official ambassador, Canadian ambassador to the Shout Out Show. Now, I even know some brothers who from Canada, they even come on the show. They're like, hey, man, how do you get to be ambassador? Easy. Consistency. And I'm going to talk about consistency a little bit too, but consistency, Brother Altaf is here. We're not talking about late, but to talk about straggling. I mean, he is here. He was like, he almost Jamaican, man. My grandfather used to say, if the job starts at 6 o'clock and you show up at 6 o'clock, you 15 minutes late. I do believe that. I don't believe you can show up at 6 o'clock for a 6 o'clock job or 9 o'clock for a 9 o'clock job. It's just not the way it works. Okay, that's a lesson. Some of you young heads out there that think that you can show up at 6:05 and think you're on time for 6 o'clock. I'm telling you, your uncle preacher's telling you got it all wrong. There's such a thing as time, and then there's such a thing as time preparation. Look at your time preparation. When you look at your time preparation, you will most likely be on time or be aware of time. All right, who else we got? Sister Ika, all the way from Indonesia. Sister Ika, thank you so much for coming to the show. For those of you who don't know, Sister Ika launched her catering business during Ramadan. We do hope and pray that catering business is doing well and producing revenue for you and your family. So, because self-sustainability is always important, no matter how old you are. Being able to sustain yourself is important. And as an entrepreneur, it's even more important because it's that much more organic. Exciting. It can be tough. It can be difficult, but it is exciting when you are, in some regards, you are steering your own boat in terms of your economic situation. So big shout out. Next up, we got Sister Satana. Like I said, I gave her a shout out at the top of the show. I consult a producer. Thank you so much, Sister Satana, for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And holding down the show, not just holding down the show, coming up with great concepts, good story ideas for the show. Because some people, I was talking to JT, Johnny L. Thomas, he's not on the show right now. He might come in later. But I was talking to him about the shout out show for where it started to where it is now. And even he remarked, it's like, when you first started, it looked like this. Now, and what it is, you understand the ideas of aesthetics of television and what people expect when they look at TV. They expect somebody who's going to be able to sit here and have a conversation in front of a camera for however long it has to be. Also, hoping that the topics is going to be relevant to what the viewer's thinking. If it's not something they're thinking about immediately, right at that particular point in time, that means you have to make it that much more interesting. And that's what we try to do here on the Shout Out Show, whether it's me or Sister Satana or even the guests we bring in. We try and make that thing that much more relevant and interesting. So our topic today. Oh, here we go. We got Mama Moss. I call her Mama Son. I enjoyed Ree and Derek for Mother's Day from Texas, and happy they made it to Michigan safely. Yeah, when and it's interesting when you have a group of people who may not even met each other. They met, a lot of people met on the Shout Out Show, and it's interesting the relationships, and I want to say care narratives. The relationship and care narratives that people develop for one another. Are you okay? I'm sorry to hear that. And it's interesting that you have a show that lends empathy because we have a community. So, I digress. I want to get to my topic today. My topic is anatomy of a liar. Now, some people are going, preacher, this is going to be deep. This is going to be, no, it's not negative. It's not negative. The anatomy of a liar. The idea of a liar is, I've thought about this. Like the first liar, I guess, in the history of man, in the history of the world, the first liar is basically is Shaitan. I'm going to tell you why Shaitan is the first liar. Because he speaks the truth. He speaks the truth. He doesn't know that it's the truth. And not knowing that it's the truth and holding it out as such leads it for examination. And when it's examined and cross-examined and it's found not to have the validity or the weight of what was said originally in its intent, that makes that person or the statement a lie. Let me tell you what it's saying. All of us have read the Quran and we've looked at it. Check this out, though. Think about this. Iblis is, Iblis is an angel. He's in Allah's good graces. Man gets created. Allah says, bow down. He refuses to bow. His reason is he's made of clay. I'm made of fire. The lie here is he understands the nature of what that man is made of. So here's something, and it's interesting. It's the arrogance of how it's said and the arrogance how it's mentioned. I'm made of clay. He's made of clay. I'm made of fire. That says that he knows what he's made of. Even more so, it says in some regards that I control the nature of being. That right there, brothers and sisters, is a lie. You control the nature of being. You can say whatever you want to. Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever. Shaitan does not create nature. Influences is yes, but does not create nature. I put it like this. If you are out in the storm, a bad storm, rainstorm, you don't make yourself wet. The water makes you wet. Think about that. The water makes you wet. If you have an umbrella positioned at a particular point in time where the water doesn't get on you, the water comes down, but you've allowed yourself in a scenario to not get wet. But here's the truth. The only reason you're not getting wet is because you had the apparatus of an umbrella. And a lot of times people tend to think that the extension in the hand is of their own being. The extension of the hand is of their own ownership. Language and perception work the same way for the human being. We tend to think that language and perception is in our ownership. It's in our purview. Yes, we have access to it. We utilize it, but it's not our own, right? So what you have in the world a lot of times, and what Shaitan presents, because I've heard this, one of my good friends, man, Cosmoc, man, may Allah be pleased with him, said, he said, Shaitan is the first racist because he delineates, hear what I'm saying? He delineates between him and a human being, but it has nothing to do with character. It has to do with presence or presentation, but it has nothing to do with character. And that could be argued a lot of different ways, but I want to flip it. Because the one thing about Shaitan is that he has an unmitigated level of arrogance. Arrogance is the thing that makes people liars. Let me say it again. Arrogance is the thing that makes people liars. In my business, in the Hollywood business, you have a lot of people who we say blowing smoke up their own tailpipe. They want to tell you how great they are. They want to tell you, I'm all this, I'm all this, I have this money, I have this power and things. And here it is again. We're talking about people who believe that they have ownership of resources, but they don't create the resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I could be doing this thing right here. I could say I'm the world's greatest speaker, but if something happens, technically you can't hear me speak. While I'm talking, you can't hear it. So now I'm not the world's greatest speaker. You can blame it on technology if you want to. But if I told you in an absolute way I'm the world's greatest speaker, even if the technology goes out, you're supposed to know what I'm supposed to say because I'm the world's greatest speaker. Does it seem extreme? Yes, but this is the anatomy of a liar. The liar thinks the same way. I was sitting with my good brother, Reginald Kitchen, one day, and we had a guy who came up, and we would exhale, inhale, and exhale. The reason was we knew when he came over, he couldn't tell the truth. He was going to lie and lie and lie. He would lie till we just got up and left. So imagine you're having lunch, you just got your lunch, you got to listen to this guy lie. And we would look down at our food. We wouldn't look at him. We look down at our food because half the time we were thinking, we don't even know if he believes what he's talking about. And me, in my case, when a person's a bad liar, I can't help but laugh. For two reasons. Number one, you had time to work on that lie before you got to me. And number two, despite that time, you have presented some raggedy lie, and I think it's hilarious, and it brings about a chuckle. I digress. But the seriousness of it is this. Just like Shaitan, they still possess the arrogance. Hear me. The arrogance. Let me tell you what arrogance allows you to do. In the space of the liar, arrogance is presented in a bubble, if you will. And it has two things inside of it. It has the truth and has the lie. The lie and the truth. I heard this from a very old wise man. And he said, the problem with the liar is that they are so arrogant that they believe that they have something better than the truth. They believe that they have something better than the truth. Can you believe that? Of course you're not. You're like, hey, preacher, I'm not a liar. Not at that level. But look at what I'm saying. Someone saying that I have something better than the truth. It's almost like water. Somebody says I have something better than water. Only thing you have better than water is clean water. Only thing you can have better than truth is clear truth. Really like undisputed truth. I don't know. You can throw all these adjectives in front of the truth. It's still going to be the truth. But somewhere along the line, there becomes a collective of people, brothers and sisters, who believe what they're talking about is better than the truth. You know, when I talk about racists all the time, I said the thing about racists is they work in a particular parameter of truth. The truth is what they establish, and then they try to move as far away from it as they can. The racist only has three moves. They're uncreative people because everything they do revolves around the truth. Racists do three things. Whatever it is that's good about you, they discredit. Whatever that's bad about you, they highlight. And whatever it is they don't know about you, they make up. Let me say it again. Whatever it is that's good about you, they discredit the truth. Whatever it is that's bad about you, they highlight the truth. And whatever it is they don't know about you, they make up, which is absence of the truth. Brothers and sisters, this is important because, you know, we get into these cycles. And all of us, self-included, we've all lied. We've all told a lie. We've all told a fib. We all told an untruth. And if you have not, just stop watching the show. You don't have to stop watching the show. Your camera's probably going to catch on fire. We've all said something that, even if you stretch the truth a little bit, sometimes the truth is right there, but you want to jazz it up a little bit. You know, we take liberties with the truth. But my point is, we all at some point in time have tried to give somebody something that was better than the truth. Yeah, man, I went down to the store and got myself some eggs, some milk, and some bread. I came home. That's the truth. Man, I went out to the store, man. The store manager was talking crazy, man. I said, dude, man, where the eggs at, man? He talking about they over here. Man, the eggs, man, over here. And I can and see what happens is we get enamored with this thing called imagination. And imagination has its place. But just like I told you about arrogance and all those things, imagination has its foundation in the truth. We've gone through a political cycle. We've gone through a health cycle where people, at the worst point in times, tried to give us something that was better than the truth. You know, my my upbringing was always this. Listen, there's the truth and whatever else you want to tell the people. Because the truth is weighted. I was at a cook bar this Friday, and the imam said something, I'm not going to argue with him, but I took a little. I didn't take offense to it. I disagreed. He said, the religion of Islam does not require logic. He said the religion of Islam does not require logic. And I disagreed. Because logic is the thing that gives balance, if you will, for us having a clear view and establish the parameters of truth. You know, if you have a religion with no logic, then you have a religion most times that has no discipline. Everything in the Quran, everything in the Sunnah of the Prophet has been built upon sober language. That sober language is, of course, the truth, meaning that if you can reduce doubt, if you can reduce uncertainty, then you're giving people clear-minded knowledge of which they can make a decision. And that's interesting in dawah efforts. When I say dawah efforts, people who are, inviting people to religion. Back in the day, you used to call it fishing, or and every religion tries to bring in more recruits. That's the way it goes. But the ones who bring in people based on the truth normally have folks that stay in that situation longer. They matriculate because it's not a jump from the truth to the truth. It's not a huge leap. There are some things that you have to understand, and you will meander in between people who deal with the truth and deal with arrogance when they think they're giving you the truth, or the worst, they think they're giving you what they need. My point, brothers and sisters, is that we all have to be clear about that. The anatomy of a liar is something like I posted on Instagram. The deceiver always thinks that they deceive the other person in their best interest. It would be the same thing with a liar. A liar always believes that they are lying in your best interest, which in and of itself presents what? A lie. A liar is invested in perverting the truth, number one, but also, I want to say molding the truth or framing the truth so that it looks like what they said. It looks like what they meant. It looks like what you feel. And at some point in time, we've all been lied to. We've all been lied to. Whether you know it or not, we've all been lied to. What is the thing that you want immediately after you've been lied to? The truth. Tell me the truth. I've heard that said, people arguing, just tell me the truth. And the reason why people do that is because there's an immediate sense of urgency when you've been deceived. When somebody's led you astray for 2-3 months, you have a sense of, tell me right now what it is. And in that, brothers and sisters, I'm bringing this home, because we don't have a lot of time. And I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say the truth. This probably should have been a larger topic, probably with guests and scholars and things like that. Because I'm so infatuated with the truth. One of the things when I became a Muslim comedian, quote unquote, I took I took a study with a scholar, uh, a religious person, and I asked him about stand up, the idea of comedy and humor, and he broke it down to me. He said, "Well, it's a story. You're a storyteller." He said, "But you're a communicator. You're telling people something." And I said, "What are you telling me?" He says, "Well, you're telling them the story. It may have your perspective on it." He said, "But it has to be the truth." Which, brothers and sisters, has made it extremely hard over the years to write material that's strictly based on the truth. Or, you can take metaphors and throw them in there, and you could say, "Hey, listen, this is like something," but you can't say it is something. It's like something, but you can't say what it is something without certainty. If you say it is something, then you bear responsibility and accountability for what that thing is. But a lot of times, and when I go to comedy clubs, it's just filled with untruth. People will lie. They will not tell the truth because they're in pursuit of laughter. They're in pursuit of acceptance of their particular point of view, acceptance of their vision, their perception, and that's what it is. And I will say something about the anatomy of a lie because when person tells a lie, they are lending themselves to the most selfish part of their personality and their character. They lend themselves to the most selfish part of their personality and their character. And ironically, that's where they feel the most comfortable. When I am fully engaged in the most selfish part of myself, that's when I feel the happiest. That's when I feel the most satisfied. That's when I feel the most secure. And that's why people don't want to hear the truth. You start looking at truth tellers throughout the history of the world, all the prophets that have been presented. People didn't want to hear the truth. Prophets were killed. Prophets were run out of town. Prophets were assaulted. Prophets were displaced. Bad things happened to prophets. I don't know, it sounds bad, but bad things happen to prophets because people didn't want to hear the truth. So, brothers and sisters, I hope in this little space that the next time somebody tells you a lie, you remember this conversation we had. But even more so, the next time before you tell a lie, I'm asking you don't indulge the most selfish part of your personality and your character. Let the truth lie there because it's so easy to tell the truth. You know this the story, the truth is something you never have to remember. It's so easy to tell the truth that it becomes hard. And it becomes hard because we live in a world full of lies. You know, I look at acting sometimes. The Academy Awards, people, you know what that is? People go, "It's the best actor," or da da da. I'm like, yo, you know what it is? It's the person who lies so good to us that we suspend our own reality and we think we're back in on the Colum on Christopher Columbus's ship, or we're a Viking, or we live, underground, and we have giants and trolls, and that's imagination. We lend ourselves to imagination. There's nothing wrong with dreaming and having imagination. The only time is when we take that and we start telling people this imagination, this creativity, this narrative is better than the truth. So I pray all of us, we don't find ourselves in the situations. We don't see ourselves that way. And we become advocates of the truth, not people who say, "I have something better than the truth." I mean, because if you think about it, even religiously, Shaitan is this, that, and then Shay is all these things. That's what I call Shaitan. Shay. Shay is all these things, but I give Shay credit. Shay will never tell you that I'm God. But Shay will tell you you're God. Shay will tell you you know everything. Shay will tell you don't worry about laws. What God says, do your thing. But Shay deals with the truth. Shay's own truth is, hey, I'm only able to do things. Why? Because God allows me. I don't know who you got authority with, but see you in hellfire. All right. So let me go through our sponsors. You guys have been gracious. Thank you so much. That's right, sister. Sister Mary Moss, sometimes a person lies to boost his own ego. Absolutely. They want to feel important. Sometimes the truth is you ain't important. I saw a man who was I saw a man who ugly in the face. He looked like Sim did the mystery. He thought he was the prettiest thing walking. And I was like, well, as long as there's no mirrors to tell him the truth, you going with your bad self. All right. What's going on? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother. I'm listening to your show with Yolanda, Mom, and Aunt Mamie. Oh, Aunt Mamie, how you doing, sister? Aunt Mamie, love you. And you got Mom, boy, you got a house full, man. I know some food is going down over there. You got the powerhouses. You got my sister, Yolanda. You got your mom, Aunt Mamie, man. I wish I was at that house, boy. I know it's gonna be some laughs up in there. Missing all of you, hugs and kisses. Sister done a great show yesterday. That's right. Get your love. Get your love. Get and so I'm gonna leave off because I know I was talking about this anatomy of a lie, and I just want y'all to know that I'm not mad at anybody. Like this is not directed at anybody. This is almost like self-care, if you will, to talk about situations, scenarios before they actually happen. I think it's sometimes it's great to be able to dissect things and understand and compartmentalize things because it really, really has been helpful to me over the years, not just as a comedian or as a Muslim, but just as a human being, being able to actually deal with other people. Sometimes we have an opportunity whereby we can sit down and have this talk, and I can tell somebody, you don't have to be these things. You don't have to be these things. You don't have to engage that part of you. We're just two people talking. And sometimes it's been on some of the greatest therapy in the world. So let's get going. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. First up would be by BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. You can give a call at 1-800-675-3175. I'm sorry, 1-800-679-3175. Again, that's 1-800-679-3175. Let me see. We got Be Financially Independent up there. I'm gonna throw that up there. Again, I'm gonna run back. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. You can call 1-800-679-3175. All right, brothers and sisters. And also, I want to give a shout out to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. I've always given a shout out to Bayan graduates. My man, Imam Saifullah out of Vegas, and uh, is going for mayor. Bashir Jones and Sister Humera down in Houston. We had a great class, brothers. We had an amazing class. So we're gonna make sure we shout those people out. Much love to them. Much love to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. And I also want to give a shout out. I tell everybody please check out the Universal Title. Again, that's the Universal Title. It's a Muhammad Ali podcast documentary talking about his spiritual journey from Islam, from Christianity to Islam. All 6 episodes should be up now. All right. So look, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have been tremendous. This is Sunday Potluck, and like I said, I want to reiterate. I'm not mad at anybody, and I'm happy. I'm in a good space. I'm just talking about, I see the damage that lies do. Let me say that though. I see the damage that lies do, and I want people think that it's one lie. No, sometimes it's the little lies that create this perception. And when there's enough lies, the truth doesn't have enough gravitas to fight against it. Or you create a culture that likes lies. You create a culture where the lie is the currency. And so the truth has no value here. So that being said, I would encourage us, to in our own lives, in our own character, in our own personality, pursue the truthful aspects of yourself because those are the things that are most valuable. Those are the things that help people. And even when the truth is not the prettiest thing, it's the honest thing. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm out. Preacher Moss. This is a shout out show. You've been a part of Sunday Potluck with Preach. I hope to see you tomorrow. Inshallah, more better Mondays. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey, everybody, this is your brother, Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next Shout Out Show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarif Attar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifattar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.